IVM.
You're listening to TFG Football.
Hello and welcome to TFG Indian Football Podcast. And the anticipation is rising. You can almost hear the theme music of Das Spoke Zarathustra playing in the background because the Indian Super League is starting. Finally, man, how long have we been without league football? It ended way back in April. I-League also ended around that. We had Super Cup after that. We've been busy with the World Cup and everything else, but it just seemed like, वो feel नहीं आता है as long as we don't have ISL or I-League going on and we have matches to look forward. Kevin, how are you feeling the excitement and enthusiasm ahead of ISL?
It is the calm before the storm now. So it was quite a relaxed period for Indian football so far, at least as far as the league domestic circuit is concerned. So now it will be back to business and too much happening at once. It gets too much to handle as well.
Yeah.
But then that's how leagues are. They have to be done over a longer period of time. Even if we talk about the breaks, I don't think it affects the scheduling too much. It's just almost a similar scheduling. Just probably the double headers have been skipped. But yes, we are back to domestic football now.
Yeah, and this time we just have way too much going on in the national team front. Also, we know that India is going to China for the first time, I think, to play against the People's Republic of China team as an international friendly. And then we're going to have November and December, we will see more friendlies happening. This talk of Bahrain coming over to India to play. Imagine the kind of exposure that Indian football team will get and experience, and at the same time we will have ISL and I-League taking going on. They will have international breaks, but players will have to shift between the national team and ISL. Stakes are this high because we have Asian Cup coming up, but ISL is also going to be more hard fought than ever. Let's jump into it, but first, the other thing that's happening in Indian football right now is the under-16s who have been playing in the Asian front. And both of the teams, the boys team and the girls team, both have been doing quite well so far. The girls team is playing in Asian under-16 qualifiers. They had a decent game against the Lao, and in the end, it turned out to be, a little subpar. We actually expected a few more goals and few more wins from them. But Indian under-16 boys team, which is playing at the Asian under-16 championship, their hope is still alive. And it just seems like...
It's more than hope. It's the chance of topping the table. And, the massive result that comes our way is holding Iran to a draw.
Imagine, but one of the things, Kevin, it just seems like the Middle Eastern teams don't do as well in the age groups as they do in the senior level. Iran have not won a game so far. This is their first point. It's Indonesia who we will be playing on Wednesday night. They are the ones who are contending for the top spot with us. And that game will decide. And make no mistake, it's not sure that we will go into the knockouts because, again, if Iran get a big win over Vietnam and we fail to win this game or draw this game, then we have a goal difference or head-to-head coming in. Head-to-head was a draw, right? So goal difference will come into play. And there's a chance we might get knocked out from the group stage itself. So the stakes are high, and we're facing the other big successful team. But yeah, you're right. I mean, hey, under-16 team is holding, Iran. We had some Middle Eastern teams being held by our under-23 team earlier this year. So is this a trend where our junior, the next generation of players that are coming up, they're literally outshining our current superstars at the Asian stage? as they are getting the chance to do so.
Yeah, I think you have to understand. It's a small difference between having the younger teams. When they move from one age group to another, it's a small difference. It's not huge. If they've been performing well at the under 15 and the under 13 levels, you can expect a strong show from the under 16. I think that's where we'd have to just jump back to see how our team has been faring. So just the contrast is from the under 16 till the 19 is where the massive difference happens. That is where a lot of changes physically for the players happen. So from 15 to 16, I don't see that's a big difference. So if we've been playing okay in the 15th, I think that just carries forward. So this under 16 side has been playing for quite some time, but there are these names that keep coming up again and again, and that's the good point. When you have stars being risen in the team, it just makes way for the future leaders of for the Indian national team as well.
Yeah, we have actually stars just being built in every level. The under 17 World Cup team, which is I think they're gonna be starting to knock on the doors of the under 23 teams in a year or two. Actually, I think the biggest tournament to watch out for after Asian Cup is going to be in March when India under 23 team plays the qualifiers for the next Asian under 23 championship, and they're going to face off against some big teams. And that's where the de facto next generation will be seen, because we've seen the current under 23 team in the SAF championship, in their friendlies, the under 23 other tournaments that had happened over the last year. But the Asian Cup will be a bookend. A lot of the senior players, that will be their peak, that will be their final big contribution, and that's when the next generation will have to step up to the plate and take control, and that's where we will see. And what a good thing this is that so many of them will be seen in action, the under 23 potential stars in ISL and I-League. ISL, talking about it, I-League is still a month away. We still don't know which day it's going to start. Of course, we're not going to find out when it's going to start until a few matches have already happened. That's how it goes. But ISL starting on the 29th, and you were at the ISL media event where I think we had Pune City, Delhi Dynamos, FC Goa, Mumbai City players. And what was the anticipation like? How do you think, given of the way they were talking about the upcoming season, how are they looking forward to it?
What was interesting is none of these four teams that were present yesterday at the media event have taken a trophy. So,
so it was a trophyless event.
So there you have it. It's all preparation. How do you work differently from what you've not done in the past 4 years? So that was all about the question revolving put up to the coaches, the assistant coach, and the players that were present at the moment at the event. So basically what was gathered is it's the majority of Spanish coaches that we're seeing in the ISL. So likewise, you've seen the Spanish players also being brought in. It makes a mix of a mini Spanish league that we are having in India. So that's the whole idea. But the message is that ISL is reaching out far to the European nations, and that's the reason even the pre-seasons have been dominated to have pre-season being conducted in the European nations. So in a way, it's good for the ties. It's good for the players of the Indian originals to interact with players who've been part of a technically superior footballing nation. So that's one way to look at it. But the anticipation again is we're looking at what different can each team bring to the field. So a lot of changes made. Technically, a lot of new faces will be seen. Some core. So I think some core part of every team is retained. So that's a good way to continue. But what's common for all teams is everybody's got a new coach. So there it again puts up the question: how soon can you see the team stabilize before we had the first break into the ISL.
Well, one thing I will raise an objection about them being all trophyless. FC Pune City won the IFA Shield last time. It was under 19, but hey, that's a legit trophy. That's a very hard trophy to win. So you can say that all those four teams have one trophy between them. So it's not a completely trophyless gathering.
But no, I only pointed out for the ISL trophy. Looking at the overall.
Well, Mumbai City, I believe, were the champions of the 2016 season.
Yeah, that's always debatable. The league winners have not gone on ahead and taken the trophy.
Yeah, that's what happens in ISL. Best team doesn't win. Very interestingly,
that's very into the focus at the moment. Interestingly, Steve Coppell, now the coach of ETK, also brought up that point. It's kind of good to talk about, but what is accepted is it's the format that is set from the beginning, and all franchisees have accepted and gone ahead to play the tournament. So it's not that it's a surprise thrown towards the end of the league. So it is built and played out that way. So it shouldn't be a big complaint from the players or the management that they weren't informed and this was the format change. It's all accepted and taken forward.
Yeah, but the message that's going out to the teams is very negative in this case. That if you are at the top of the table and you think top four is it's guaranteed, then what? You should just rest your players for the playoffs and play a second string team and not care if you lose. So are you encouraging the good teams to play dead games? That's not a good message to send out at all. MLS A League, they have playoffs too, but there's one trophy that goes to the playoff winner and one trophy that goes to the league stage winner. The league stage does not go without anything anywhere other than this particular tournament that we have here. And it's okay now because as we have found out, it's not recognized as a league by AFC. It's recognized as a cup tournament. So in that way, a cup can have a semi-final and final. But we know this is being built as a league, and it's going to be our top division league next season. So it's a good thing that the whole debate has come forward with Gurpreet Singh Sandhu. Before that, it was just some crazy people like me who were just talking about this on Twitter, that we need a trophy for the table topper. Now everybody is raising the question. That's a good progress in the debate. Incidentally, Emiliano Alfaro, Pune City superstar, played really well last season. He's still with Pune City. He's talking to the journalists at the event, including you, and he was also asked a question. So let's listen to the clip, what he had to say at the event.
First of all, try to reach the semi-finals, and after that, go step by step. I don't like talk too much about only reach the semi-final, because to do that, you have to work hard every day. You have to go step by step, game by game. And that is the way that we are working and we are seeing. And about individual performance, I expect the best always. But I only can guarantee that I will do my best, nothing more. My life, I tell you, I will make some goals. I don't know. I will try. It's my job. I come here for that. But I can only tell you that I will do my best to try to score as soon as I can.
How with the new coach? Obviously, last year you said there's a different style of play. How's it with him? Do you think it will be helpful for you? Perhaps you might score more goals this season. How do you think?
I hope, of course, because we hope the best for the team and the best for Pune City. Of course, it's different style, it's different philosophy than last year, but it's good philosophy also. If you see last year, Delhi at the end they play very good, they get space, they score too much, they finish the season very good. So I hope that we can understand this. We are working hard to do that, and after share this in the pitch.
Have the demands of your role changed? Do you think you need to do different? Like your role is different this time around than last time as a striker with this style?
If it's different style, you have to adapt. You know, we are players, and many times this happens. Go change the style, and I think that good players are these ones that adapt fast to the new philosophy. We are working hard to understand. We are improving, and I hope that we can show this in the pitch as soon as possible.
Alvaro, what are your thoughts on the format of the league? I mean, the league has been following this format right from the start. But last year, for example, Bengaluru, they dominated the league stages. Then they ended up losing the final, and there was obviously bitterness among the players. They felt that, they were the best team in the league, but having to play the semi-finals and this. Obviously, you guys reached the semis last year. I'm sure you all would like to go better, but what do you feel, at this stage, if I may ask you about, that, I mean, there's a possibility you could finish top of the league, something similar like what happened to Bangalore could happen to you guys.
What I feel, I don't know. There is many places that this kind of format is. Maybe it's not the best or the equitative for the best team in the league, because you tell Bengaluru last year for me was the best team in the league, and after that they can't be champion. You have to adapt. It's about that. The first step is reach the semifinals. Doesn't matter if you reach in the first position or in the fourth position, because last year Bengaluru reached in the first position, and after it wasn't champion, and now we came in the fourth position, and we also know champion. So there is not an answer for that. Just you have to adapt and to play behind this format.
This will be your third season in ISL. How different is this time from when you first came over here? How different is it this time?
Every season is different, totally different. But the most important, in my opinion, is we some of us, we already know the league, we already know the people, the style. So we have experience here in the Indian Super League. And this is important to adapt, to share with the new players, to make easy the adaptation. And we are trying to do that, to try to do a good season.
Could you talk about how the pre-season has been for you guys? Could you shed some light how it's been?
Pre-season is always hard because you have to work to. It's the base for full season. You have to work hard, you have to run, you have to make power, but it's part of, and we try to do in the best way. And I think that we did a good pre-season. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So yeah, Kevin, he just sidestepped the question very well. But we need that. We need that trophy for the ISL table topper, and nothing is really stopping ISL from getting an extra trophy into the play, because what do they have to lose if the table topper gets a trophy? I mean, it can only be a good thing, right?
Yeah, and that's the point exactly. It's really not expected a player or the coach to give a concrete answer.
Yeah.
So what can be best is just leave it as it is, and what we look forward to is ISL the way it has being an entertainment post the league completion. So I think that is some way to look forward to a finish for a league, because you are in a league system usually you are ending up with a couple of teams right up there to probably you have a photo finish, just like I-League has been having for the past 2 years. That doesn't really mean that leagues can get boring, but probably down the line we should see it open up, and the league leaders should be handed a trophy if again they plan to go ahead with the semis and the final.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, eventually the semis and finals should go away. But if you're gonna have it, at least give a trophy to whoever is topping the table. At least live up to your name, which says league in capital letters. Either way, let's move on to another conversation that you had, Kevin, with along with many other journalists. This time with a team that we are looking forward to very intently. I don't know if that's a word, intently, but intensely we can say this might be a make or break season for them. Delhi Dynamos had a terrible performance last time. Their fan base also started dissipating. It seemed that the turnout just went down drastically. Other than ATK and Northeast United, they were the ones biggest hit by turnout fall in ISL last time. It was the Delhi Dynamos coach who was talking to you, Kevin, and what did you glean of what he said about the upcoming season?
So what Joseph Campbell is looking at is again a mix of players. Not just young players, not just experienced players. He wants them to blend in to have the team show the combined power of the best of both sides. So that's the reason where they suffered was Delhi Dynamos did have a good team, but then again, it's questionable how the young players were used. We did see a lot of potential and promise showed by Changte, but he wasn't shown the enough field time that he should be deserving. But so it was one question that was repeatedly put up to Joseph Campbell, and there we have it. You can hear him answering those questions again.
What prompted you to come to India, and how exciting has your journey been till now?
Yeah. Okay, when I had the opportunity to come here, I like what I saw last year, watching from outside the league, and I think that is a country that the football is growing and everything is very well organized by the ISL, and I like to have this opportunity and to be here. About the team, every single coach expects the best of his team, and our aim is to try to work very hard to play good football and to try to be the top, as high as we can in the table.
They've been known to play on an attacking brand of football from the past season, which we have witnessed. Last time they didn't have a great start, but later on they did continue with that attacking philosophy. So what would your philosophy be like? Would you be going with the same mindset, or there will be some changes?
No, it's very similar. It's very similar as a Spanish coach, Miguel Angel, also Spanish coach, and more or less we have the same philosophy. For sure that every coach have his own things. I saw that last year the Dynamos finished the season in a very good way, which is something that we want to keep this momentum that we finish. And for sure that the work that Miguel Angel did that was very good, and then can help us to start to build our project now.
You obviously coach in Australia and other countries as well. So how do you see the Indian players compared to them? How far behind are we?
No, it's not behind. Every country is different, and I think that, for example, in Australia the players are very physically. But here, what I saw in this month that I am working with them is that everybody have a very good attitude, which is something very good. Also, the mentality to work is something good, and I am satisfied. We have very young players in the squad. They are hungry. They want to progress, which is the best. When you have players that are hungry and want to make one more step in his career. Working hard, and we'll see. Excited to start the league in a big time.
Coach, Portugal said that Indian players are more suitable to play a Spanish style of football. Do you agree with that, compared to suppose the Australians or something? Do you think Indians are more?
The players of India, they have all the skills to play this kind of football. But also in Australia, I think that at the end is to teach the football that you want to play, and if the players have the mentality, everybody can play this kind of football.
The season is a bit longer, 5 months compared to last season, and but injuries can happen anytime, which as a coach you don't have control over. So how important you think is having depth in the squad?
Yeah, look, it's very important, and more the season is a little bit long, but the schedule is not. We have very big gaps that we don't play, and in a very short time we play a lot of games. For example, us in 13 days we play 5 games, which is something very difficult. It's like every 2 days and a half we have 1 game, which is something that's difficult to manage. And the only way to manage this is to play and make rotation, and making that everybody play. When you need to do this, you need to have a deep in your squad, and you need to have a pool of players that everybody can play, which is something that we need to work and make that every single player in the squad can be useful for us.
Coach, many of the people that we've spoken to have also said that their teams are also going to be playing a possession style. So, what do you think is going to be the difference, between you or between the other sides that actually?
Yeah, no, I think that every single coach has his own things. No, possession style is that you want to try to have the ball and you want to try to attack, but after that, every single coach has his movements. So some of us we defend in one way, others defend in the other way, and then every single coach is different. Will be similar way of play, but with different things.
Delhi, your side has a very young Indian players. So do you think you will miss any experienced Indian players in the middle?
Look, always you need experienced players in your squad, but I like to work with youngers because they have hunger, and when a person is hungry, they run more and they want to try to win. No, I feel that we have a good squad. And I am satisfied with them. And I think that we will miss experience because also we have some experienced players coming from outside of India. And I think that this mix can be very good.
Last question. They have a flight to catch.
All right, guys, you heard the man. Delhi Dynamos are going to have a very crucial outing this time, and they need to prove to their fans that they can make a comeback, and that's what really proves a team's mettle. I mean, Kerala Blasters showed us how to make a comeback from a bad season and a bad start, and that's what sort of reassured their fans that doesn't matter if they're having a bad time now. The team always has the ability to make a comeback and going forward. So yes, we are going to take a short break now. On the other side, we have an exclusive interview coming up with FC Pune City's Adil Khan, and we're going to listen to some other players who are also looking forward to the ISL season. So stay tuned.
Hey everybody, welcome to another week on IVM Podcast. If you are not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, I wanted to ask everybody, it would be really great if you could recommend a show that you like to a friend. That's the way that we're going to spread the word about podcasting. Please, please, please go ahead and do that. This week on Cyrus Says, we have film critic Rajiv Masan. Cyrus and Rajiv discuss films they grew up on, the allure of movie stars, and the bright future of Indian films. On Simplified, Chuck, Naren, and Shrikit tell us about eco-friendly Ganeshas and how Ganpati immersions can be more environmentally friendly. On The Seen and the Unseen, Amit speaks to Yazad Jal, a fellow for economic policy at the Takshashila Institute, about India's ongoing job crisis. On the Pragati podcast, lawyer and policy analyst Amaya Nayak joins Pawan and Hamsani to discuss the Syrian civil war that's killed 500,000 people and displaced more than 10 million Syrians. This week on Paisa Vaisa, Anupam talks to Deepak Shenoy. Deepak's the founder of Capital Mind, and they discussed portfolio management schemes. The Rediscovery Project is coming out with its 4th season. Don't forget to catch Ambika and Hoshna with all new episodes from the 25th of September. And with that, let's go on with the shows.
Welcome back after the break. Kevin, the big games that we are looking forward to this weekend are ATK versus Kerala Blasters and, of course, the reenactment of the final battle from last season, Bengaluru FC versus Chennai FC. Two big games that the ISL has, probably the two biggest games easily, I'd say. Who do you think is going to be the star of the weekend? Like, just pick one or two names among the Indian players. I'm not talking about the foreign recruits. The biggest stars of the Indian football team will be facing off over these 2 days, and who comes off on the top?
For me, the first name that comes out is obviously one player who I think most of the Indian national team followers have missed. It's Lindo. I hope he'll come back to his best of fitness, and probably we'll see the best of him. And yes, he is still with ATK, and ATK going ahead with the big Blasters, and James is again with them, and that just makes it more meme friendly to have him back with the same team for the second time. But Steve Coppell in charge of ATK this time. Now for him, it's the 3rd season in the ISL. Now we're expecting more from a coach who's seen the ISL closely. I don't think we've seen after Zico, nobody's stayed for 3 seasons with one team, or at least in the ISL. So Coppell is right up there with the experience of the ISL. And looking at the teams facing in the first weekend, it's always difficult to predict, how we're expecting. But we can look at probably the home crowd, getting in behind the team, and that's favoring the home side over there. But in the Chennai and Bengaluru game, I know it's a lot of stars in both teams that I'm really looking forward to. But Chiranjit, have you heard about Dhanpal Ganesh? We hear some reports that he is out of action and he might not be playing. So,
he's
really
out of action for the first half of the ISL season. Basically, has an injury, cannot play. That's what happens, man. I mean, you go through you come after a bit of a layoff. You go intensely at the preseason.
He's always had that problem, but I think he's one of the players who he struggled with his injuries. But when he's fit, I think he's a good addition to the team. I was looking forward to have him, if not other players. But Bengaluru is right up there. The start of the AFC campaign was not really great for them, but I think they can make it up this season, live up to the name that they've had in the short span that they are in Indian football. So Chetri is obviously there. Is the obvious name that comes to your mind. But I'm really looking forward to my man, that is Lindo, in the upcoming weekend. The first weekend.
We still don't know if he's going to start the season from the first game itself, or he still needs some time to recover and get back in shape and be 100% from that injury. And seriously, of course, Sunil Chetri is the default answer that comes up in these situations, isn't it? He scored like 60% of our goals in the last few games, 60 to 70%. Roughly. And I think a lot of this under 23 stuff that happened, that was a big part of that was to find who's going to be the next Sunil Chetri, because what happens if something, God forbid, something like what happened to Eugene Lindo or Dhanpal Ganesh happens to Sunil Chetri? What if he can't play an Asian Cup game? Who steps up? Who gives us that guarantee of goal? If he's not out there, Balwant. I mean, do you want Balwant going up against UAE in UAE? Leading the attack? Is he the guy? Good reps for JJ and others, but still nobody is quite up there. Nobody can snatch a victory or a draw from the face of a game that wasn't going well. Well, he's still completely uncomparable at this moment. I think what to do. Let's get back into the players that you had the chance to talk to, Kevin. Let's listen to somebody who has been quite influential in the FC Goa recent games that they have played. Of course, one of the famous victories they scored was against East Bengal, 1-0 at a friendly game. And it seems like it was a restrained game in terms of attack from FC Goa, and they rotated a lot. So let's move on to some of the players and coaches that you had the chance to speak to, Kevin. You spoke to Jesus Tato. Is that how it's pronounced? I think. Yeah. So he's the assistant coach of FC Goa, and FC Goa are looked at as one of the title contenders. They had one of the best attacking regiments out there, and of course a lot of people thought they were going to win the whole thing, but got let down by their defense. This time it seems like they're working quite hard on repairing the defensive unit that they have, and one good example was the game that they played against East Bengal, which saw East Bengal go at it in the second half. The second half was an East Bengal attack versus FC Goa defense game. As it happens, they set it up like that in friendly games, and they drew a clean sheet. So that shows some kind of improvement is taking place, is it?
Yeah, that's exactly what most of the questions were revolving around. Jesus Tato, who's the assistant coach, he was there representing FC Goa, but he's seen the league as a player. So obviously the first target was, he said, for FC Goa was to not concede too many. look at the change now. From the attacking team now, they've started to become more cautious. Not letting in too many goals, and then holding that fort for some time, and then probably going in for the attack. So that was basically the whole idea that FC Goa have been throwing out, saying we want to keep that balance of the attack. And mind you, the attack, the free flowing, playing it from the back and everything will be as is, the tiki taka, the small passes, and the long plays. But a couple of players that were influential in last year's good performance till the league. So Ferro Corominas is still continuing, but Lanzarote is moved out. So that was again put out a question to the players that how is the attack going to look in the absence of that combination not being there as of now. But I think they've already set themselves up to continue how they've been going last season, adding to the defensive wall that was missing from last season.
Yeah, so let's listen to what Jesus Tatu had to say about the upcoming season.
Excited are you, for this new opportunity which you got to get into coaching? Could you tell us what's your mindset like in this whole setup, being involved with FC Goa?
Okay, I'm very happy, very excited with this challenge, this new challenge for me. 6 months ago, I was player and now changed the role and became in part of a staff technique. But I'm very when I was player here in India in ISL 3, I enjoy with this country, I enjoy with this competition, I'm in love. Okay, so when I received the call from Coach Lovera and talked to me about the possibility to come back to India with a new role, okay, but come back to India and enjoy again, I have no doubts about it. Prepare my baggage, take my family, and be ready for came here again because I'm happy here and I want to enjoy again for the country, for the people, and for the ISL.
Did you manage to follow the last season, because season 3 was much shorter, season 4, and what do you think, if you followed, what do you think is the difference from the time you played and now in the longer season, do you think?
Yeah, it's different because you talk about the time, the duration, and it's very different. When I play here, we have no time to training here. It's only travel, play, travel back, travel again. So you work in precision and then only compete. No time for change, for improve, or no. You have work in precision and then compete. Now it's time, we have time for improve some things, change some things also during the season, and it's easy for coaches, okay? Because have time to train it. But for me, it's the same. The competition is very, very professional competition, very comfortable for the players and for the staff, and enjoy a lot because here you feel like a professional player the same way that in the best leagues in the world. I play in first division in Spain, is one of the best leagues in the world, and when I play here, I feel the same. So at the end it's the same, but the very big change is the duration.
So this year you also have windows in between where for the international day. Do you think that will help even more for you to train with squad and get the idea through? Do you think it's good for coaches even more now because there are gaps in between?
Okay, if I tell the truth, I don't think a lot in that. It's real that we have 2 breaks now before December, and then in January another big break with the international tournament. Okay. Okay, no problem also. We put the focus on being ready for the 1st of October. Then at the end we play twice against all the clubs in ESL, and I don't care if it's now, then break. No, it's not. We try to put the focus on the things that we can change and we can improve. The other things, okay, I think the ISL did the best job with the schedule because It's not easy with these breaks. But the coaches and the players also, all the staff technique put the focus on be ready for the 1st of October, and then no problem. If we have to stop 3, 4, 5 days, okay, stop, no problem.
Coach, go ahead.
Do you think the longer league has made it more competitive?
Okay, ISL 3 is a short league and very competitive league also. So, no, I don't know because last season I can follow the league, but from Spain. It's not the same stay here and live in first person. But I think it's good for the league because it's the same calendar, the same schedule that the other leagues. So for the players, come here in the past for play only 3 or 4 months. At the end, it's worse for the league because so many players not come here because it's very, very different the duration. So finish here in December and not play more in a long time. So too many players not come here for that. And now the players, okay, it's the same duration that, for example, in Spain, okay, I go to India because now Indian league is very famous. All the players who stay here in the past talk with our teammates, with our people in Spain, and people, for example, in Spain, our country knows about this league, very professional league, very good teams, very good fans. It's very important that the fans here are very hot, and the players love this way of support. And now the duration for me is the perfect duration.
Coach, recently the team came back from Spain after the pre-season, and you played a match against an I-League club. So this has just started happening right now. So what was the whole idea of playing the I-League club after coming back from training in India?
Yeah, now tomorrow we will play again against another I-League team, and I think okay. We don't want to play against ISL teams because in a few days we start the league and don't want to give. They know what is our way of play. So we want to play against big clubs or big teams for check our level. And I think East Bengal is a very big, very good club, very big club here. Have a very good coach. I know the coach is a Spanish coach, a very, very good coach, and very good players. And we try to check our level. Okay, the match was very good for us. We can look a lot of good things in our team and in our players. And another things we can improve, but at the end we are very happy with the level shown for us in the last match. And tomorrow we will play against another A-League team. Okay, Indian Arrows is very special team, and try to check again the level for be ready the 1st of October. This is the most important day for us, 1st of October. Now a friendly match for test many things, but we won't be able to be ready for the 1st of October.
A lot of Spanish coaches this season in the I-League. Why do you think Indian ISL clubs are looking at Spanish coaches really openly?
Okay, maybe famous tiki-taka. No, I don't know. I know in Spain, Spain has a culture, a big culture in football. The teams like Barcelona, like Real Madrid, has a lot of trophies, European trophies. Spanish coaches, for example, Pep Guardiola, Marcelino, very, very good coaches, and maybe clubs in India or in other countries. There are a lot of Spanish coaches in a lot of countries. The teams look for one coach that play good, okay, but one coach that can teach the young players, can teach the national players to improve, and maybe, I don't know all the clubs, but maybe look for one person who can do these two things. Coach, manager the first team and achieve the objectives, but also teach the young players, teach new ways of training, new systems, and help to improve the football in local zones.
You talk about teaching young players. You've played in the ISL before. Now as a coach, you have the opportunity to look at players. What kind of change are you seeing in the way Indian players perceive the game now?
Big change. Big change. I talked with Lenny about that. I was teammate of Lenny in FC Pune City, and 2 years later, I checked Lenny again. Now this from the other side, from the dark side, and talk about that. The people, the young players in India or Indian players improve a lot in 2 years, thanks to ISL, because ISL became a famous league and can add a lot of foreign players and foreign coaches, very good coaches, and they help to young players and to Indian players to improve. So ISL is very important in that question, and the foreign coaches and players that also are a very important part in this way of teach and way of learn of the young people and Indian players.
In what areas are you seeing the big improvements?
They improve. When I was here, many Indian players has quality to play, but tactical system or tactical movements, maybe they have not the base teach. Okay, for example, in Spain, we start to play as 5 years old. So to start to learn from 5 years old, when you arrive to 15, 16, you automatically you can do all the movements, all the practice movements. Maybe here the people start from youngest to play football. And when I stay here, the people has quality because there are good players, but in tactic movement systems, I don't know if they cannot do perfectly. And now, with 2 years more of learning, with good coaches, with good players, playing matches because the experience is very important in that question, they improve. They improve a lot. And now I think the football is most famous in India than 2 years ago, and the young people start to play as soon as in the past. So when these people arrive to 15, 16 years, they became in a very big, very good players.
Last season, you guys scored a lot of goals, but that concern was there with regards to your defense, What's the strategy this year to tackle that so you all don't concede a lot and continue playing the attacking form which you all have been famous for?
This is the key, okay? And it's not easy arrive to this balance. We can keep getting a lot of chance and score a lot of goals, but it's the truth. We concede a lot of goals last year, and we want not concede too much this year, but with the same style. We want to arrive with too many people in front, create a lot of chance and score a lot of goals, and for that we have to take risk in defense. But we want to improve, but with the same style, no change, because this style we think is the most near to get the win than the other styles, and also because our players enjoy with this kind of play and our fans enjoy with that. So we try to keep the style, but with concede less goals.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You're welcome.
Funny how you mentioned Tiki Taka, Kevin. When the jersey launch was being done for the upcoming season for FC Goa, they were playing a new theme song. At least that's what it appeared to be. And the irradiation of that song, the very beginning, came with a chorus of Tiki Taka, Tiki Taka, Tiki Taka. They know what they're doing. They're projecting themselves as a team with a good Spanish style of play, and it just suddenly, it's for us it seems a little bit new because under Zico, the way FC Goa was conceived, it had a Brazilian spine. It had that kind of glimpses of samba that we got to see in ISL through them. Suddenly, it just seems like an entirely different team altogether, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We are just by getting in Lobera and the Spanish players that he got in.
Yeah.
But it was a good, attractive brand of football, at least for as they said, entertainment for the fans. They had something for the fans to look out for. So I think that that factor was still there. Having that attack mode on all the time, but the balance was shifted. It went only forward. There was no way to track back and hold that lead that they had. So yeah, it's a contrasting change from how Zico had built FC Goa to now the Lobero built FC Goa.
And let's now move on to an exclusive that you got, Kevin, with Pune City midfielder Adil Khan. And so just preface the interview with us. What did you cover and what was it like?
The first thing that came to my mind is Adil Khan. I've admired him for quite some time. If you've listened to earlier podcasts, I was always an admirer of his defense. And from the time I saw him at Churchill's Brothers, obviously he's got his career has gone through lots of ups and downs. So I did ask about how it has been from that time as well. So there was also that shift of since we know Adil Khan, he started as a defender, and now he's known as a strong midfielder at FC Pune City. So I think that was basically it. And so he was he was quite happy to answer that, and quite strong also, talking about the phase that not many were willing to go through that, but yes, we can hear him talk his own story in his own words.
Yeah, let's listen in to what he had to say.
Adil Khan, can you just share a background of how you got into football? How did you make your way to professional football?
I started playing with my village team. Before we used to play challenge matches with my friends. I used to play for them it's a ward game from one village to other village. To play it on like games, friendly match with. We used to bet. And then suddenly one of my village coach, he saw me playing for my team, and then he selected me in his team for my village under 13, where I started my football. And then from there I played for Vasco Sports Club, which was they were playing for under 15 in Goa, under 15 tournaments. So I played there, and from there I've been selected for Cesar Football Academy. Cesar Football Academy, when I joined there, that's where I decided to make football as my career. So that's how I started my profession.
Football came as a chance, and then it made an opportunity. So coming to professional football, you must have it must have been not very smooth, right? So what are the challenges what have you faced?
So being a sportsman, you have a lot of challenges. You struggle a lot with the injuries. You have to maintain your diet. You have to keep yourself fit every time. When you're off season, you have to take care of yourself. So a lot of challenges. You need to sacrifice your studies. Some of years they sacrifice your studies. Me especially, I sacrificed my studies because I couldn't do both together. It was very difficult, but I concentrated myself in football, and I took football as my professional career.
So was it a tough choice?
It was a tough choice because yes, it was a tough choice because my father wanted me to study, and I couldn't. I was not that good in studies before. My more of chances I could see in sports. Even I played cricket for some time, but in Goa there is not much scope for football. For cricket there is not much scope for cricket, but football is always there for Goans. So I decided to play football and become a professional footballer.
And could you share that difficult time of 2015-16? You went through that injury phase. What was going through your mind? How did you come up? How did you battle that phase?
It was very difficult for me to come out of there because I was out of contract. First thing first, I couldn't. I was not getting any income. It was only that I was spending money on my fitness in the gym, swimming, and my daily life. I used to spend a lot of money to get fit and come back in the football. In football. So it was very difficult for me to take a decision and stuck to the football because it's my. I will say it's my passion towards football, and that eagerness. I was so eager to get my football career back. That's what made me stuck to football, and of course my family supported me very well. Even the bad times when I was not earning, and those 2 years, my brother, my father, they supported me, and they said, "Take your time. I think you have a great future ahead if you maintain yourself properly. So they supported me financially as well, and helped me a lot to grow.
So you come back, you enter second division I League, playing for Lone Strikers. How was that? You battled your injury, you became fit again. You were headed to I League, second division. Was that a boosting phase for you? How did you?
It was like my comeback. My actual comeback is not ISL. My actual comeback was when I decided to play for second division in Kashmir because I was low of confidence. I was low in everything what I was doing. So when I decided to go Kashmir, I have seen the tough time in Kashmir. The people, how they stay, how they survive there, how they stay in curfews, they fight. And a lot of things happening around, and it's very difficult for players to go everyday training. It's very difficult there to stay in a daily life. So this is where I thought that if people can stay survive in those kind of situations, we are very happy in Goa. There are no problems for us in Goa. So if we work hard in whatever we want to achieve, we get it.
Adil Khan, you moved from being a central defender at Churchill Brothers to one of the top scorers of the Indian side into the ISL. So you talked about playing in different positions at your academic level in your academy at the football academy. So how important is it for a footballer who's aspiring to become? Is it right to choose one position and work it way forward, or you're going to trust completely on the coach?
It depends. It depends on the player. If he wants to stick to one position where he's comfortable, it's his choice. And if he know that he can help his team in different positions, so he have to take a step forward and tell coach that I can play different position. You want me to try? You can try me in different position. If it works, it's well and good for the team and the coach, and especially for the players, so that even if he have competition in the position where he wants to play, he can still have chance to play in other different positions. So it's always good to have a versatility in the player.
Adil, one final message to that young boy who's looking up to you. He's seen your pathway, he's seen how you've fought through difficult times. So one message for that young boy who's looking up to you.
The boys who are looking after me, I think they need to work hard, be disciplined, show your passion towards football and do what you feel like doing. That's important. If you want to continue football, stay with it. If you don't want to, you want to go into studies, go and do studies. That's all I can say for them, and just play football for the fun. That's it.
Thank you so much, Adil Khan. Great pleasure to meet you. Adil, do you mind?
Okay, so you heard from Adil Khan. I used to love him when he was playing for Mohun Bagan. I still like him, but So yeah, let's look forward to the games that we have coming up this weekend in ISL. It's two of the I don't know if I can call them the final rivals or something like that, but the last grand finale that happened was between Bengaluru and Chennai FC, and ATK and Kerala Blasters have played two ISL finals between them. So it's obvious what ISL is trying to do. They're just putting the biggest possible caliber names right out at the beginning to start the league with as much of a bang as possible. But one of the things that we keep hearing from East Bengal and Mohun Bagan fans, and I'm just comparing this to the derby for the simple reason that these are high stake games, right? Like in ISL, Bengaluru Chennai is considered a big rivalry, and ATK and Kerala Blasters are also considered a big rivalry, and that way we can compare them to the derby. So what the fans say, what the teams also say, is that we don't want the derby too early in the season, because they want the team to be ready. They want all the experiments, all the combination testings, all the little bit of twinkling that you have to do at the start of the season to get the team working at 100%. That has to go out of the way so that the team can be 100% ready to take on the big game, which has so much running, And here you have a situation where ATK are facing Kerala Blasters, and Bengaluru FC and Chennai FC, obviously two title contenders, are starting off by playing each other. Does it seem like, a little bit of a premature battle, and it might become a little more unpredictable because of that? because these teams are not in the rhythm yet?
I don't know. It could be at least the differentiator between how I-League and ISL works. So if you have I-League, it just runs like normal league, and ISL is something that starts off on a blast, and then probably it slows down in the next season. So probably that's the whole idea. You start off with cracker games, and then the excitement slowly dies off, and then you have a break, and then the action relives again. So probably that's the whole idea of having featured games at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, but just looking at it from a fan's perspective, what do you get from these opening games? It's like you want to put your best show out there, but something that you are trying out, a new player, a new position for a player, first game of the season doesn't always go very well, and it might turn out to be an underwhelming performance in those aspects. I'm pretty sure the matches are not going to be in any. They're not going to lack excitement in any way. This is the start of the season. That euphoria is going to be there. It's the big teams facing off each other. Who do you think wins, ATK Kerala Blasters?
ATK Blasters is going to be a big draw. Either it's going to be 2-all, it's either going to be a 3-all draw.
Yeah, I thought of a 1-1 draw when I was looking at the teams. If David James still has the attacking philosophy from last season, they're gonna have trouble. That's not the way you end up winning a league or doing good in a league. Just lobbing the ball to the striker's chest and hope for the best. It does seem like the Kerala Blasters midfield has solidified, though, isn't it?
Somewhere, we really have to see the combination. It doesn't give you an idea how this can be working at the start of the season unless you see a couple of games. It's again very fresh to have big ambitions about both teams.
Yeah, let's see how ATK do with their new look attack with Kalu Uche up front. That's going to be interesting to see. Balwant is also there. Jayesh Rane. We have not seen him in action for a while, it seems, simply because he's not getting much of a chance for the national team. So, it's going to be interesting. Then we have the blockbuster on Sunday night. It's Bengaluru FC versus Chennai FC. So far, twice Bengaluru FC and Chennai FC have faced off in Kantirava. Both times it's been a win for Chennai FC. Including in the ISL final. Convincing wins, I must say. Does this happen again on Sunday, or do Bengaluru FC finally, get their Kantirava victory?
So the way the season has started for Bengaluru, I think it hasn't been the best of starts that they would want. At least in the AFC Cup, not the best.
Dude, I thought they were going to lose. Like when the fixtures came out, they're playing this team. Okay, they're going to lose. That was my first reaction. It was kind of expected that they were not going to win those, right?
Well, you always have that edge when you play a couple of competitive games more than your opponents.
Yeah.
So Bengaluru has that edge over there again, but they haven't looked as strong as last season. So I don't know. I don't see too many goals coming out from some expected goal scorers. It might be someone who's least expected comes and scores a couple of goals. So I'm not expecting a high-scoring game in this one. Probably 1-0 at max.
1-0. I think we're gonna see both teams score simply because it's gonna be it's just such being billed as that revenge match. Of course, they're not gonna go out and say it, but among the fans, it's a replay of the final. It's a rematch from the final, and especially for Bengaluru FC fans, it's become a matter of prestige. That how can they have a team from Tamil Nadu come and beat them time and time again on Karnataka soil. So that way it's shaping up nicely. I see a Bengaluru FC 2-1 win. And you're right. Like JJ is going to be clamped down. Sunil is going to be clamped down. Somebody, I hope it's some Indian player who comes out and gets the winning goals for either team. It's still a toss-up. Chennai FC might as well take it, but I just see a Bengaluru FC 2-1 win. What's your prediction? A draw or 0-0, 1-1? 1-0?
I'm saying a 1-0 to Bengaluru FC.
Okay, so both of us are predicting a Bengaluru FC win. Imagine the hate that's going to come if Chennai FC wins the game. We'll get, our social media is going to get flooded. So to find out which social media to flood, you can follow @TFG Football. We're going to carry all the games, live updates on the Twitter handle, whether whoever is winning doesn't matter. We're going to carry the under 16 games also as time goes on. We will provide you also updates on a lot of the pre-season friendlies that are going on between the I-League and ISL clubs. This Northeast United playing Minerva Punjab. Mumbai City is playing Real Kashmir FC. All that.
Some team is playing Indian Arrows. I think FC Goa is playing Indian Arrows.
Yeah, and but I think the most interesting matchup so far is Mumbai City and Real Kashmir, because we want to see that Kashmir team in action and ahead of their big debut in the top division. So keep following that. I am on Twitter @Chiranjit Ojha. Kevin, you are on also Twitter @Boza_Kevin. Kevin. So both of us predicted Bengaluru FC is going to win. If they don't win, you know where to abuse us. IVM Podcast is where you get all the best podcasts in India. You can listen to it on the IVM Podcast app or their YouTube channel or their website www.ivmpodcast.com. The podcasts, this one and many other great Indian audio shows like Geek Fruit, which I listen to very religiously. It's just my kind of vibe that I get from that show. And that's also available on iTunes, Stitcher, and many other podcasting platforms that you might go for. I listen to it on YouTube because, I'm a noob. So, come back to us next week. Look forward to the matches. You'll get updates on thefangarage.com. All the previews, all the post-match reactions, all the analysis of how the games went, both of ISL and I-League as the season approaches us. So please come back to us next week, and thanks for listening. Bye.
Hi, I'm Vishal Gondal, an entrepreneur. I've had the chance to meet and understand how some of the super achievers have hacked their way to success, and they have done spectacular innovations. Now I take a closer look at these people's lives to find out what lies beneath the force, only on the Vishal Gondal Show. Episodes out fortnightly on Wednesdays on the IVM website, app, or your favorite podcasting platform.
Shunyavan, 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 Shunyavan.
$1 billion acquisition. Another copycat startup got formed.
No, the tech world in India is surely moving double the speed of this voiceover.
Tune in to Shunya One every Tuesday to catch us talking to the smartest people we know on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.